Stop trying to sound important. That's the exact thing that's making you sound junior. Every time you reach for a bigger word, another line of justification, or stack one more credential into your signature, you're not building authority. You're broadcasting that you expect to be ignored. Because here's what nobody tells you. The tells that make an email sound low status aren't a vocabulary problem. They're a need problem. And you can't fix a need problem with better words. So if you've ever written an email 4 times and it still comes out sounding small, subscribe now. The problem was never the words. It was what you were feeling while you typed them. And this channel is about that exact gap.
Welcome to Own the Room, for people operating where the stakes are real. Pitches, negotiations, leadership conversations that don't come with a second chance. Here, you'll learn to control perception, read the room, and thrive in high-stakes communication. Now here's Jake Stahl, who's going to help you turn communication into your unfair advantage.
So let me show you the version of this you lived this morning. You've got an email to send, something that matters a little, a follow-up, an ask, maybe a note to someone a rung or two above you, and so you write it. Then you read it back, and something is definitely off. It sounds eager, soft. So you edit it. You swap a word, you add a line to explain yourself better, you soften the ask so it's not pushy, you add a just to take the edge off, or a no worries either way so they don't feel pressured, or a thanks so much so they know you're grateful. And every edit makes it worse because you think you're polishing the email, but you're not. You're feeding the need. And everything you ask is you managing a fear of being pushy, a fear of being ignored, a fear of looking like you think you matter more than you do. And by the time you hit send, the email is a perfect X-ray of your anxiety, not your competence. Your competence is fine. It's your anxiety. And the person on the other end reads the anxiety first before they read a single fact, because emotion travels faster than information. And the bottom line, you weren't writing an email. You were asking for permission to exist in their inbox. And you know what? They felt it. So let's go where it actually starts, underneath the words. Every low status tell is a symptom, and they all trace back to one root. You don't believe you have the right to take up that person's attention. That's it. That's the disease. The hedges, the apologies, the over-explaining, the whatever's easiest, I'm totally flexible. Those aren't writing habits. They're what it looks like when a capable person secretly suspects that they're imposing. And watch how specific it gets. You write, "So sorry to bother you," when underneath, you're afraid you don't have the right to their time. You over-explain when underneath, you've already decided they're going to say no. So you're pre-arguing the case before they've even responded. You make yourself infinitely available when underneath, you're afraid that if you name a real boundary, they'll walk. And of course, you add the exclamation point when underneath, you need them to know you're friendly so they won't be annoyed. But you know what? None of that is about them. All of it is about managing how you feel. And that is the definition of low status. Not weakness, not incompetence, need that's visible. Because status, like real status, is just this: It's comfort without needing anything back. The person who doesn't need the reply, doesn't need the credit, doesn't need to be liked in the next 4 seconds, they write 3 calm words and the whole thread bends towards them. And here's the part that should actually free you up. High status isn't a personality. It's not charisma that you were or weren't born with. It's actually a subtraction. The senior sounding person didn't add anything you don't have. They removed something you're still carrying. And that's the need to be reassured that they're okay. But you know what? You could put that down today in your very next email. So here's some things to watch in yourself before you send. I'm going to give you 5 of them, and they're all about catching the need and not fixing the grammar. So, number 1, name what you're protecting. Here's what I mean. Before you send, look at the softest line in the email and ask yourself, what fear is that guarding? Let me give you an example. If you put in your email, no rush at all, that's guarding you from feeling pushy. The 3 paragraphs of context that you built in there are guarding you from being wrong. So if you name the fear and you can decide whether to keep from writing it, usually you won't. Number 2, catch the apology reflex. So if the email opens by apologizing, maybe you'll write, sorry to bother you, or sorry for the delay, or my favorite, sorry to be a pain. Just stop. You're apologizing for occupying space you have every right to occupy. Listen, you brought something worth their time. And people who believe that don't open with an apology. They delete it and feel the discomfort. But remember, that discomfort is the old need leaving your body. Number 3, ask whose enthusiasm this really is. So if the email is more excited than the moment calls for, that excitement isn't warmth. It's need wearing a smile. You're not pumped about the meeting. You're anxious they'll say no. And the enthusiasm is you pre-managing that. So match the temperature of the situation, not the temperature of your nerves. Number 4, measure your over-explaining. So the length of your justification is a map of how much rejection you're bracing for. So think about it this way. If you're writing 5 sentences to make a 1-sentence ask, you've already decided they'll resist, and they're going to feel that you decided it. So make the ask, then stop. The silence after a clean ask is supposed to be there. Don't fill it with a 4th reason. Number 5, and this could be the hard one, delete the last line. And if I'm speaking truthfully, this is the one that changes everything, and it's almost free. So whatever email you just wrote, look at the final line before your sign off. Maybe it's something like, let me know if you have any questions, or no pressure either way, or one of the fan favorites, really appreciate your time. That last line is almost always the needy one. The reassurance you added to soothe yourself on the way out the door. You know what? Cut it. 90% of the time, the email is stronger the instant it's gone because you ended on the ask instead of the apology for the ask. So here's the whole thing in a nutshell. Your emails don't sound junior because you lack the vocabulary of power. They sound junior because they're carrying the needs you can't see. The quiet belief that you have to earn the right to be in someone's inbox. You don't. The fix isn't to add authority on top, it's to delete the need underneath. And that need is the apology, the hedge, the over-availability, the over-explaining, or that soothing last line. So write the email like you always do, then go back through it as a hunter. Not for typos, but for tells. And every place you flinched, every place you begged, every place you made yourself small to make them comfortable, cut them. Just get rid of them. Because what's going to be left is your executive presence. Honestly, it was there the whole time. It was just buried underneath everything you added to feel safe. So stop trying to sound important. The trying is the tell. The most powerful email in anyone's inbox isn't the one that reached hardest for authority. It's the one that didn't need anything back. So write yours, then delete the part that's afraid. Because high status was never something you add. It's what's left when you finally stop showing the need. And if you want to break down an actual email, listen to our last episode where we took one of John's emails and broke it down and rewrote it in this exact way.
Thanks for checking out Own the Room with Jake Stahl. If you've gotten value from this episode, share it with the solopreneur in your life who wants to know how to communicate to be seen, heard, and respected. Review and rate the show wherever you check out podcasts, and grab your copy of Own the Room, How to Communicate to be Seen, Heard, and Respected. We'll catch you next week on Own the Room.